Hey everybody, Bob here. Welcome to the channel. Today what we are going to talk about is the Arken Optics line of scopes. We start with a short review of maybe the scopes that they've had over the years and maybe you have owned, working our way up to the stuff that they're offering everybody today. So Arken, they started things out with a scope that they called the SH4. It was their original optic. Got a brand new one in the box here, and we're going to use this scope for some comparisons a little bit later on in this content. They worked their way up to a scope called the EP4, and fast forward to now, and what we have is kind of a blending of the two, the EPL4. So what I'm going to do today is kind of make some comparisons of these scopes. That I'm sure there's lots of content out there already on the new EPL4, the EP5s that came out last year, as well as the SH4 Gen2. I've got all kinds of content on those optics that you can scroll back through and take a peek at if you're looking for the actual specs on those. But what we're going to focus on today more is the original SH4 and this EPL4 and compare these scopes. So the SH4 that came out as the first optic, it had some appeal for hunters. It was a 30mm tube, it was a lighter optic, and it was set up to be used, target shooting and as well as hunting. Things progressed to the EP4, got big and sturdy, massive turrets and things of that nature. A couple evolutions of different reticles and things like that. Working our way up to the SH4 Gen2, which was, even though it had that H, we think of as the hunting, the SH4 Gen2 really is, it's kind of a toned down version of the EP5, more cost effective, affordability there. So when we bring the EPL4, we've got that L in there, which is, lightweight. But, we could probably slip an H in there because this scope is kind of got some marketing that'll fit the hunting crowd as well. So what I'm going to do is compare the original SH4 to the EPL and see if it's something for you guys who've got the original SH4, if it's something you might want to upgrade to one of these EPLs, or if you've got the SH4 Gen 2, you find it heavy and you really want to make like a switch over to this EPL. Is it better? Is it worse? Is it worth the investment of buying another scope? So what I'm going to do is put these on the scale, pull them out, kind of check them out real quick. And again, kind of my theme here is let you decide. Do you want to make another investment in a new Arken optic? Do you want to add one to your collection of scopes, swap them out or whatnot? So let's start off with this original SH4. So we got one right here. So we're going to pull this original SH4 out of the box and take a peek at. A few years ago, if you got on the Arken brand bandwagon, this would have been your original guy that you came up with. This particular one, I've got the specifications on the box here. This is a 4-14 by 44 front focal plane, and it does have the 30mm tube like the new EPL4 does. So we've got the same goodies they've come with all the time. So I'm not going to bore you with that stuff. So I'm just going to get this guy out of the box real quick. All right, so this is your original SH4. We've got the shade that they all come with. All the models come with one of these. These just screw onto your end here. Just same on them all. So this was the original Arken optic right here. We've got our 30mm tube right here on this guy, and this one's a 40mm. This would be the scope that they say this has what they call their lower level glass compared to the EP line. So I have one of these, actually two of these mounted up on hunting rifles, and I enjoy them. They're not real heavy. We're going to put this on the scale right now. I know you can look up the specs, but hey, that's no fun. Let's put this thing actually on a scale. So these scopes work real well. Turrets are nice and crisp. They do have parallax on the side as well. And what these scopes have lacked, and it kept the weight down, was the smaller tube, as well as they don't have the illuminating reticle on here. So it keeps the weight down. So let me get the scale on. Got a pile of different Arken mounts and things that they've been coming out with as well to fit up the new EPL, with them going back to 30mm tubes. So I've got the scale here. I'll set this guy on here. And this is showing, we go pounds here, 1 pound, 6.15 ounces. All right, so again, keep in mind, this one that we're looking at here, this is the 4-14 by 44. So comparatively speaking, the EPL4 that I have is the higher magnification one. So the weight's, it's not direct apples to apples comparison, but here we go. So here is the SH4. I'm just going to set this guy down right here. And let's get to the new one here. Let me find which one I got. Okay, so here's the EPL4. So this is the scope that's meant to fit the niche that this guy left behind when we went to the everything being more target based. So again, packed similar. Come with the little cleaning rag and a sticker and a battery and all that stuff. All right, get this stuff apart here. All right, so this is your new EPL4. So the difference we're looking at here, or similarities, we've got the 30mm tube. That's about it, similarity-wise. This scope actually has a illumination, but this one doesn't have a windage turret exposed. Does have the windage turret, and you can choose to keep that cap off if you want, I suppose, but it's capped. Simplicity for hunting. Most of us hunting would just hold over. So this model is the 6-24. So this could weigh a little bit more. We're looking at a bigger scope, and with this being the EP model, not the SH, we're looking at the higher quality glass that's coming through here. So let's put this on the scale first and just see how this stacks up to this other one. So I'll get this back on. Put them both on there, back to back. Yeah, get this guy on here. All right, 1 pound, 6.15 is showing me this time. 1 pound, 6.15 versus 1 pound, 8.94. So this optic, remember here, a little bit better glass and higher magnification on it, is a little bit heavier than this one, the original SH. So think about that. I mean, what is important to you? Are you building a extremely lightweight rig? Don't have one of these on hand in a lighter magnification. I guess we can look up the specs, or I can post them up here or something. I'm not gonna bore everybody with that stuff. I'd say, in general, you know, if you've got one of these, you're looking to upgrade the glass quality of it and add some illumination, you might want to look into the new EPL4. You're going to get that with it. Generally speaking, what I can say with the two of these that I have mounted up right now, and I've been hunting with them for years, the original SH compared to the SH4 Gen2, you know, clarity-wise is about the same. It does have the smaller tube, but the SH glass is a little bit less clarity in, you know, harsh conditions than the EP glass that we get on the EP5, the EP4, and this EP4L. And keep all this alphabet straight of what we got going on here. So, you know, what I find is the differences are pretty minimal for me for general shooting conditions. When I go to the target range and I may be using extended distances, if it's less than ideal weather, there's some humidity in the air, fog, dust, anything like that, it's getting dark, not yet light, as well as any of those factors, I think the EP tends to shine, something with the glass. I'm not a glass chemist, I can't tell you why. I can say that I think that the larger tube helps bring the light in on it, and maybe the EP glass, that's part of the thing. But when looking at these scopes, I think that most guys who have this SH4, if they run into conditions where they're looking for a little bit more clarity, this EPL4 may be a good option for them. This scope is definitely, let's set these here, a lot lighter than the current affordable beast, which is the SH4 Gen2. So if I pull this guy out, because I think this is a scope that a lot of people are going to be making a comparison to, is the SH4 Gen2 and the EPL4. Not seeing as many people actually owning one of the SH4s, the original ones, when those came out. It seems more people kind of got on the bandwagon with Arken with the EP4 and really with the SH4 Gen2. So this is an SH4 Gen2, which would be more of a direct comparison to this EPL4. So my EPL4 is a 6-24, and my SH4 Gen2 is a 6-24. And, you know, if I just compare these guys, there is a significant difference. I probably don't even need to put these on a scale to tell you. This guy feels like, I'm not going to say 2 of these, but there's a lot more here. Target shooting, you may love that. This thing's going to be planted. But if you're carrying your gun around in the mountains or through the woods, forest, swamp, up the hills, right here. So these are what guys are looking at. So really, to cut to the chase, I'm 12 minutes into this content. If you got one of these, are you going to consider upgrading to one of these? You know, I'm going to say, going out on a limb, having looked through this a little bit, generally speaking, I believe that the EP glass is marginally better than the SH glass. In this case, however, with these SH4 Gen2s being the larger tube, I think they gather enough light to kind of offset a little bit of the difference with these EPs having the smaller tube. I'm not seeing as big of a difference on the positive side with the EP glass on the EPL4, I get this straight here, versus the SH4 Gen2. Typically, like I say, if you looked at an EP5 and an EP4, regular EP4, compared to an SH4 Gen2, it is noticeable if you were to put a target down there and really try to discern differences. You know, I made some content. I actually put a thing down there that was what your eye doctor would use. You could kind of tell the difference a little bit. Hunting scenario, maybe not so much. But for me, comparing these two optics, the new EPL4, I may have called it EPL4 4L, I'm not sure, keeping that straight. But the new scope compared to the SH4 Gen2, could this be an upgrade? You know, clarity-wise, I'm not so sure just yet. I'm sure some guys will put some more content out there and report back on that. But in the weight department, definitely. So if you're looking to shed some weight, this guy is going to be right up your alley. And I think that's what Arken was marketing this for. Reduction of weight, simplicity, you know, messing around with the windage turret and getting that thing capped off and everything. But keeping the illumination on there versus the old SH4. So let's see real quick on this same scale here. I'm going to put these, you know, back on the scale here. This is a regular kitchen nutrition scale here, so you can see how scientific we are down here in this basement, right? So EPL4, let's get back on here. £1 pound, 8.9 ounces. £2 pounds, 4.93 ounces. So closing that on a pound difference on a product that's not much over a pound or so anyway. So this SH4 Gen2 has definitely got the heft to it compared to this guy. We're looking at the same warranty still, so you don't have to worry about this thing being any more fragile. I've got all kinds of content out there beating the snot out of these things, and they hold up, and I really wasn't expecting anything different with this one. So I'm going to cut this one short right here and leave it with that decision for you. Watch some further content. I'm going to get these things mounted up and, you know, maybe compare them side to side with the glass. But then again, I do put that caveat out there that all of our eyes are a little bit different. You know, the cameras that we use, these Tecticams, the GoPros, the settings that we have set up on all these devices, they do vary and they do impact the quality of the product that I can produce or anybody else can produce. My eyes are different than yours. So we do like to put that stuff out there. You can see if there's a really a huge difference or not. But I think the big thing we're getting at here is the weight of these two optics and the simplicity of that new EP4L model coming out. So hope this helps you a little bit, maybe points you in the direction if you want to get an order placed for one of the new EPL4s. If you want to upgrade your old original SH4, man, those things got a cult following. So if you got one, hold on to it, or if you put that thing up for sale on the Arken boards, man, it'll go like that. Or if you want to take your SH4 and pull that guy off and put it on a bench gun and get one of these new ones on your hunting gun, you know, I hope this stuff helps you realize that it definitely is an Arken Optic, that they've been listening to what people want, coming out with product for the hunters. So till then, get these things mounted up and you know, share your experiences if you're getting your EPL4s coming in, or if you got original SH4 and you want to compare these things as well. What are you seeing? Is it worth the, you know, the change? Is it worth the money spent, or does it, you know, the original one still get the job done and hey, you're good? So till then, take care.